Yes. Good morning to all my fellow compatriots of America. Requesting the freedom of Roger Stones now. This man was kidnapped from his home and is being imprisoned even though he is innocent. There's a telephone number you can call 202-456-1414. He is a political prisoner. The communists want to destroy America and want to destroy our freedom by banning or censoring the voice of the conservative movement in America to save America. These people, instead of supporting Trump in his effort to save America and help America, they're trying to destroy it by censoring our freedom of expression. Good morning. Good morning to all. There's another person I want to request the freedom of. And there's this man. I posted it a couple of times. I want to post it again. I did Roger Stone first because this is a speak in English video I'm putting down. Even though I post one, I'll post one in Spanish later on. But I'm going to start with Roger Stone from now on because he is a political prisoner and he should be free. There's no reason why he should be in prison. The only reason he is in prison is because the far in those miserable, hellish prisons of Cuba. The same thing Bernie Sanders and the rest of the communist movement here in the United States want to impose upon us. So we're requesting the freedom of this man, plus the other political prisoners that are also being tortured in those hellish dungeons of the prisons of Cuba. Also requesting the freedom and liberation of the political prisoners of Venezuela, Nicaragua, North Korea, and China. There's a lot of videos, there's a lot of news. If the signal goes off on me, like I say, always go to my blog, which you have to put down my name, Eduardo Rodriguez. I pledge allegiance to the flag, and you'll find my those videos. All the videos I posted are very interesting, all of them in English, and there you can find also news from the Jihad Watch, which has been banned on LinkedIn. And I might probably be banned on Facebook because Facebook doesn't want people to know what's happening in the Islamic world. And they're trying to censor. They already censored a news that I got out from Jihad Watch, which is only the truth, which is only posting out the truth of what's happening and what is the real determination of the Islamic movement. And it's to conquer us. Well, let me get this one over. Let's go directly to what's happening. Iran releases 85,000 prisoners, 85,000 prisoners who are all Muslims due to the coronavirus, but they left all the Christians in the prison. They want them dead. So the coronavirus spreads, hey, the hell with them. That's what they're doing. This is coming from the religion of peace. People that we have, what we did, Obama flooded into the United States, and which Facebook is censoring for denouncing it. So I might be censored again. I might be how you call it, a ban for good for Facebook for telling the truth. They hate it. Liberals hate the truth. Why? Because these Muslim countries are investing money from which Hillary was enriched, Schumer, Adam Smith, who knows almost all the whole DNC. They're benefiting from under the table. They're getting cash just like in the communist country. Well, they're all communists anyway. What the hell am I talking about? Besides the communist country, the Communist Party, which is not, which the Democrats, which is now the Communist Party, they're all the same. They want to destroy the United States because it's not beneficial to them. Economically, not beneficial. In Afghanistan, Islamic State jihad has murdered 25 and attacked on Sikh Gurdwara. Gurdwara. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Gurdwara. Well, I'm not from Africa, so I don't know. Maybe I pronounced it right, maybe I pronounced it wrong. Who cares? Chicago, the Chicago mayor warns, listen to this. This is Democrat. You know, she can't say it in a very modest, decent, respectful way. She has to say it in a rough, communist way. People who go outside could face arrest. You cannot go on long bike rides. Playgrounds are shut down. You know, she can't say it in a nice way. Look, please, we request you don't go out, don't go on bike rides, and don't, you know, avoid contact. I respectfully request all my, you know, because she's a public servant. She owes herself to the people, not the people to her. You know, people are not her servants, like in the communist country, like she wants to impose here as a communist. She should be more respectful, but she isn't, because she's just the same. You know, she can't say very decently, look, we need to cooperate. You know, let's put a curfew at night, like they did here in Puerto Rico. If you're caught and you're not going to the hospital, an emergency, you're going to get something to eat or buy something to eat because you're out of milk or something, you know, an emergency, then they can fine you. No problem. And use a mask and use gloves. That's another problem with having, even here in Puerto Rico. I went to a supermarket. People walking around without masks and without gloves. Some people with gloves and without the mask. Thank God the employees of Mr. Special, it's called a supermarket in Puerto Rico, were wearing masks and gloves. All the employees that I plowed. That was phenomenal. They even had a gadget to check your front to see if you was infected with the virus. I also applaud that. They were concerned with the safety of the employees and everybody going inside there. So that was great. Plus, they didn't have a line like in some places where you had to wait outside. There's a supermarket almost across from where I live, where I could even walk there. I don't even go there because I don't even like the policy. They had like about 15 people waiting outside in a line, and the line wasn't moving. Maybe one every 10, or I don't know, wherever the hell they wanted. I said, hey, I'm leaving here. I left. And I went to another supermarket, which is not too far away, which didn't have that policy. They had a policy about no more than 5. But, you know, there wasn't a line outside. You know, it looks like they would say, well, people are coming in and going. They had 2 employees, and they were pretty quick. So, you know, maybe that's another reason. I don't know what happened to the other grocery right here in front of where I live at, which is it's called Granel. Just in case the owner hears me. You know, it was very disrespectful having us wait in the sun. There was shade, a little bit of shade on the side where we were stepping on, near the wall. But people like me, we have conditions. I'm at that stage of age where I got a couple of conditions, even gout, pain from gout. And I said, wait a minute, I can't be staying here when people are starting to leave. I said, wait a minute, over there, because the problem was I forgot some articles, and I said, wait a minute, I gotta go get these articles, and I stopped there, even though I didn't want to stop at this place because I just for some reason I don't like going there, and I said to myself, and I said to the people that were in line, hey, let's go to the one in not too far away, which is called Quebrada, and there they don't have a line. But then since I forgot these articles, I said, wait a minute, I'm going to go. And I left the line. I said, no, I'm going over there. It took me just a couple of minutes. I didn't have to wait in line, just went in, got what I wanted, and dodged out. And passed by, there was still a line over there in Granada. For no reason, because, okay, just, hey, if you're going to force stupid policies, force the people, hey, use the glove. You can't get in if you don't have a glove or a mask. We're sorry. That's our policy. That's a good policy. But having people wait in line is kind of stupid. When other supermarkets didn't have a line, I'm talking about a line like 15 people right in this dumbass supermarket, which is really not a big deal. And there wasn't that many people. What was happening inside the store? Would they have a safety talk or something? Because they had people, there were one person, they let her in, and there were people waiting and wait. I said, no, wait a minute, how would this? There's no reason to make a line here. It's ridiculous. They would have to tell the people, hey, hurry up, people are waiting outside, Well, the hell with that anyway. I already got everything I needed. And thank God when they checked me out here, over there at the supermarket, which is called Mr. Special, they found out I was okay, so they let me in. Now that's a good policy, because if you got it, they pointed out, said, no, you gotta go check yourself, because according to the machine here, you have a virus. That's I can see, because then they're concerned with the safety of their own people and the people who are buying. I'm going to be as short as I can here. Let me see if I can put the most impressive and interesting of the videos. I wanted to go to the videos, but I see this lady Cheer. I used to admire one of her songs, and I think she got a psychiatric, extremely psychiatric problem. She should see a psychiatrist. It's always attacking Trump. Then this other one. Let me see if I get her right here. I forgot her name. The one who this supposed comedian. I never found nothing funny about her. Who lifted Kathy Griffin, who lifted a head of Donald Trump's supposed severe head of him. This is another nutcase, just like Shear. She was in the hospital due to a condition in the stomach. She thought it could have been the virus, but then they found out it wasn't that, and she still blamed it on Trump. Who knows what she ate? Yes, I'm telling you, the Democrat Party should stop existing. Well, the Communist Party, not now the Communist Party. Remember, in the future, if you ever decide to vote, never again vote for the communists, because they're all in the Democrat Party now. They infiltrated and took over the Democrat Party. If you don't want to vote for Trump, vote for the Tea Party, another movement to the right, not extreme right, to the right, which is more or less in the level of Donald Trump, a little bit more firm and more conservative. That's all. That's my advice. Don't go left unless you want to commit suicide, like Danny DeVito. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, upset cash relief does not extend to. I think there's a video here. Let me see if I get the video of this nutcase. No, there is a video of her. Let me see, because there is a video. There's a video of her. I want to put the video. Yeah, I got it right here. AOC shows just how sick she really is. She's sick. And I hate to say it, unfortunately, she's of Puerto Rican descent.
Shows just how sick she really is.
To hurt the hell out of us.
Praised the national emergency crisis that we're in. This is ridiculous. We've got the details and the video you don't want to miss. But first, note that YouTube has removed us from suggested videos. The algorithm is bearing us on corporate-approved news outlets like CNN and MSNBC, so continue helping us bypass the active suppression of our conservative news and thought by sharing our reports. And if this is your first time here and you like our reports, hit that red button down below to subscribe. Just make sure you hit that notification bell. This story from Beth Bauman in Town Hall. She reports that Progressive Darling, the socialist Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, made the case that the proposed CV relief package that is floating through Congress shows why progressive ideas and the progressive movement are achievable. Quote, it's actually a fascinating progressive moment because what it's shown is that all these issues have never been about how you're going to pay for it. It's never been about whether we have the capacity to do these things or if the logistics have worked out, she explained in a video for Bernie Sanders' campaign. Watch.
And it's actually a fact things where if the logistics have worked out, all of these excuses that we have been given as to why we cannot treat people humanely have suddenly gone up in smoke. And what it has been revealed is that all of these issues were really about a lack of political will and who you deemed worthy to be in an emergency or not. Because to me, in New York City, the highest rates of homelessness since the Great Depression has been an emergency for a very long time. And we have had to have been pushing for housing as a human right for a very long time. Now that we are experiencing everybody who's threatened by the uncertainty of this moment, everyone's realizing, wait, we are all in this together. And so that applies not just to issues of economic prosperity, but it also applies to issues of criminal justice, of civil rights, of human rights.
Now, according to the freshman congresswoman, progressives have been pushing for housing to be deemed a right for a very, very long time. In a separate video, she explained that there are illegal aliens currently in ICE detention facilities in New York and New Jersey. She said she waited outside LaGuardia International Airport while 6 young children were being taken into custody. Watch.
LaGuardia Airport. And about a week ago, I was called by a community organization, New Sanctuary Coalition, and there was an anonymous tip that there were 6 young children being transported by ICE into New York City in the middle of a coronavirus outbreak. And I had gotten this call on a late Saturday night, and I was asked, can you go to LaGuardia right now? So we hop in, I rushed to LaGuardia Airport, and I just took all of my congressional credentials with me, and I just waited outside of the gate where families come out of the airport. And I waited there until I saw an ICE agent with about 6 young children with him. And that's when we started to realize that meanwhile, while the Pentagon has paused all domestic travel for the military, while everyone is working from home, while we were then on the brink of instituting a shelter-in-place policy, you still have ICE that's trafficking children across the country. And not only that, but there are immigrants in detention centers that are getting even less attention because the federal government argues that they are entitled to less human rights than the rest of us. And so as a consequence, there are ICE detainees that are on hunger strikes in New Jersey in several different facilities. You have folks in Rikers who are also starting to organize their own strikes.
Oh my God, I can't believe this lady.
They are not
Jesus Christ.
To their labor assignments, which we shouldn't even have mandatory labor assignments where prisoners are paid slave wages. So, we see how all of these issues, social, racial, and economic, are coming to a head, and we can move through this. And if we handle this right, if we handle this with bold...
Yeah, that's right. She's all talk. Yeah, here you go. She's all mouth,
People
that's
like
right.
AOC, they write, if people like AOC want to make the case that the progressive ideas are great, fine, so be it. But they should do this after Congress comes to a stimulus agreement and Americans are put back to work. Better yet, they should do this after the crisis passes. Oh my goodness. Cut her off. I'm sure you appreciate that.
Yeah, we do.
Comment below. We'll see you at the next report for the Next News Network. I'm Gary Franchi. Thank you for watching that last report. You know, it's
I got an
6 months'
idea.
time, a year, or however long it takes to sort out the stock market and the virus situation.
Why don't we take away AOC's rights and give it to them, to the 3 kids? Yeah, or send them to her house. Look, you're concerned about them? We're going to put them in your house. We're going to place them there. And if it's a terrorist, place it in our house. Oh, this guy killed, he decapitated 5 or 6 women for denouncing Islam. Put him in her apartment. See how far she gets with that. She's so concerned with illegals. Hey, put it in her house. That's what I'm saying. All these illegals, hey, while the process of deporting them is being done, put them in the houses of the Democrats who want to support them. You know, am I being fair or am I being unfair? Yeah, let's do that. While the papers are being processed, so ICE can just deport them. Put them in the houses of Pelosi, of Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders. Oh no, wait a minute, they're terrorists. Hey, you want us to take care of them. So we got an idea. We're going to put them in your house. How you like it? I got to put this one down. Got a funny feeling I'm going to be censored for some reason.
If you're in Congress, you have to do a bunch of completely unconscionable things while acting like you're trying to help. And there's only one rule you don't break. You want to hook up with pages and interns? Go right ahead. Need to use some inside information to profit on a stock trade? No problem at all. Do you need to use some inside information to profit on a stock trade so that you can pay for a trip in which you will hook up with pages and interns? Of course you can. In fact, it's encouraged. The only thing you can never do is say the quiet thing out loud. There are things that everyone in Congress knows are true, but you don't say them out loud. James Clyburn has been in Congress since 1832. You'd think he'd know the rules by now. But when discussing the financial bill to stabilize the economy over the coronavirus crisis, he said the quiet thing out loud. Quote, "This is a tremendous opportunity to restructure things to fit our vision." Somewhere between thousands and millions of lives are at stake, and this is a big opportunity for James Clyburn. You know this thing we're all going through? This thing that makes us sad, angry, confused. At the same time, it makes them happy. It causes them to salivate. They think of how our pain can serve their vision. How it can make sure that we never, ever let a crisis go to waste, because that's why James Clyburn is going to receive today's Rahm Emanuel Human Exploitation Award. Congratulations to James Clyburn. You've won. You've won something really important. This award is carefully guarded and can only be given away to society's most egregious grifters. Congratulations to James Clyburn. You are just awful. There are literally thousands of ridiculous wish list items jammed into this bill that has delayed its passing. Everything from $600 million for arts and humanities. What does that have to do with COVID-19? To eliminating post office debt, same-day voter registration, eliminating student debt, cutting the carbon emissions of airlines by 50%. I mean, that one's not that bad, I guess, considering they've already cut their emissions by basically 100%. It's hard to emit carbon when all of your planes are parked and your company is going out of business. It makes Congress use more minority banks, which of course are banks, where you store and withdraw minorities. I didn't know. It would extend visas for non-immigrants. It would prohibit colleges from giving the citizenship status of its students to the government. It would give tax credits to solar and wind power. Not sure what that has to do with COVID-19. It would give more collective bargaining rights to unions. And to be fair, we never have tried collectively negotiating with the virus. Maybe we give that one a whirl. I don't know. I mean, at this point, let's try anything. It gives money to retirement plans for employees of community newspapers. It requires a minimum wage hike to $15 an hour across large portions of the economy. It spends $1 billion trying to buy airplanes. Do you understand what I'm saying? They want to buy the airlines and the airplanes. They're going to take airplanes that are parked at airlines and buy them. It's like a cash for clunker for planes. I would think airlines would be the appropriate owners of airplanes, but what do I know at this point? It spends millions on climate change and $1 billion on Obama phones. And it even dishes out $35 million for the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, where large groups of people get together and sit really close to each other, which sounds like a great thing to throw money at during a pandemic. Worst part is, James Clyburn might be about to get an award much bigger, yes, even bigger, than our Rahm Emanuel Human Exploitation Award. Let me take you back a few weeks. Joe Biden, he's coming off a terrible stretch, 3 straight embarrassing losses in the primary, and then he gets this gift.
I can think of no one better suited, better prepared. I can think of no one with the integrity, no one more committed to the fundamental principles that make this country what it is. That my good friend, my late wife's great friend, Joe Biden.
Really? The use of the word integrity there was particularly irritating. And does anybody believe that you think Joe Biden is really the one who's most ready? The guy can't get through a sentence. James Clyburn's endorsement is a big part of the reason Biden wins in South Carolina in a big way. And then he cruises to the nomination, assuming, of course, he can stay upright for the next few months at least. If Joe Biden wins, James Clyburn is going to be owed a huge amount of favors from the President of the United States. He will be able to find more and more of these tremendous opportunities to restructure things to fit his vision. We have a bit of a weakness here, I think, as a population. We're generally honest, and we assume everyone else is like us. Well, we assume that, everyone has
like Al Sharpton
life in every single way. I mean, it's not as revolting as Ted Kennedy in a hot tub, but it's close.
Yeah, all like in communist Venezuela and Cuba and all the rest of the world, the communist world. In Venezuela, they started buying off these radio stations, and look what happened in Venezuela. There's no freedom of expression. Why? Because they don't want freedom of expression. They don't want people denouncing their corruption and their thievery. That's why they want to buy off airplanes and all, because transportation, what it does, it sends reporters to communicate. They use a lot of strategy. There's a reason they want to do this. The mail, all the information traveling to space. They don't want that because it destroys their narrative, their determinations, their plans. Let's go to the next one. I'm telling you, there's a lot here. Go to my blog. There's more. There's more. A lot to read. Let me go to the most. Let's see this one. Joe Biden is just Joe Biden. Joe Biden is a piece of work.
In a previous report,
This one's gonna last too long. Oh, okay, let me go to this one. Let's see how long this one lasts. Okay,
well, it looks like Joe Biden just admitted to breaking the law. Maybe it's time we lock him up already, huh? Him and Hillary in the same cell. Before I get into this report, please double check that you are still subscribed with your notifications enabled. And if you're new to the channel, I invite you to tap that red subscribe button down below. Just make sure you hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when news breaks. Now let's jump into the story from the Gateway Pundit, the off-the-record discussion. Presidential candidate Joe Biden admits that he spoke with a foreign leader 2 weeks ago. This is coming to us from Christina Layla at the Gateway Pundit. She reports that it's time for the FBI to open up a counterintelligence investigation and obtain FISA warrants on Joe Biden and his associates. Those are the rules, right? That's a good, Christina writing good stuff today. Now they're right here on Wednesday. Biden admitted during an interview with NBC that he spoke with a foreign leader 2 weeks ago. After the reporter pressed Biden for more information, he quickly clammed up and refused to divulge any details. Watch.
But with regard to speaking to foreign leaders, I haven't spoken with a foreign leader in the last probably 2 weeks.
Who was the last foreign leader that you spoke with? Did you talk about coronavirus at all?
I talked about how it affected their country, but no, I'm not going to. It was an off-the-record discussion I had, so I'm not going to indicate who.
Yeah, who did he speak to? Who did he speak to, Joe? Who are you colluding with, Joe? He said, with regard to speaking to foreign leaders, I haven't spoken with a foreign leader in the past probably 2 weeks. And then you saw the reporter pressing Biden for details. Who was the leader that you spoke with? Did you talk about CV? And Biden said, I talked about how it affected their country, but no, I'm not gonna. It was an off-the-record discussion, so I'm not gonna indicate who. Now, Tom Fitton blasted Biden, writing, Logan Act? Yeah, the question is, who could China Joe have been speaking to? So it looks like old Joe has violated the Logan Act, and he admitted to it on camera. So, can we get the investigation started already? Comment below. We'll see you with the next report for the Next News Network. I'm Gary Franchi. So here's the deal. We got to continue this conversation about those browsers.
let's go to the next one. Oh, that's it. Well, there's a lot more. Like I said, go to my blog. You're gonna see a whole bunch of videos, more videos that I didn't put down because they don't last too long. Or more or less they're talking about the same thing. Well, like I always say, Donald Trump, you're doing a great job. God bless you. God bless your family. I always pray for you. I always pray, I tell God to protect you and give you a lot of health. Also for Mike Pence too, to protect him and his family. And I always pray for Israel. I always say I stand with God and Israel when I finish the last part of posting the news that comes out of United with Israel or World Israel News. Plus, I always pray to God that someday Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, North Korea, and China can be eradicated of this other virus, which is communism. So, God bless America, and until the next time, bye-bye.